I'm Madhuri Bhaduri, and like he said, I've been an artist for more than 4 decades now. Uh, and I don't claim to be an expert because art's journey is never over until you are over. But I'm going to share a few of my thoughts and ideas that I have gathered over the years. And I do hope that at some level they resonate with you. Now, going back to my childhood, right from my very first early years, I've been very passionate about color and drawing and coloring. Now, my first inspiration was from Impressionist painters, which my favorites being Vincent van Gogh and Paul Klee. Having studied their works, and because Impressionist painters were more about color, texture, and light, how light fell onto paintings. That was the interesting thing that always sort of drew me closer to that. And so in my earlier 70s, I would say that my series were more like, fields, fauna, trees, foliage. In the 90s, that was the 70s and 80s. In the 90s, I was doing more of figurative works because I feel an artist is never complete unless he has gone through all the forms around him. And nature has, along with nature, there is also a whole lot of people. So the subject of my work was figurative in the 90s. So by the time I came to 2000, my work turned more towards abstraction. And nature is, I think, the biggest muse for an artist because that is the one thing that allows him to sort of travel within himself. Now, let's come to a question. What is art, or what really qualifies as art? Because this is a question, I think, which everybody is quite interested in. And it is even difficult for artists really also to decide what can qualify as art. Now, for that, let's say if I ask you that, okay, I got this lovely painting done by a child, and with full concentration and great happiness, he has done this beautiful piece of work. Would you call that art? Or let's say that I was gifted a painting, maybe a portrait done of me by somebody, really nice work, and would you say that was art? You'll say no, of course not. But because a good picture and an art, there is a bit of difference in that. Now, but if I tell you that, yes, that neighbor who gave me that gift happens to be a very famous, established, celebrated contemporary painter whose works sell for millions of dollars across the world, would you then say it's art? Maybe you might. And it happens to be somebody like M.F. Hussain or S.H. Raza, the very, very famous masters of Indian contemporary, then you might say, yes, it's art. It's a very subjective and intangible thing. So it's extremely difficult to decide, what you can qualify as art and not. Now, in regards to that, I feel that there are a few categories in the art world which are very important. We have 5 categories of people who are connected with the art world. The first being the connoisseurs. Now, the connoisseurs are people whose relationship with the artwork is extremely close and intense. He truly believes that his relation is only with the art and himself and his feelings. Then we have professors who teach. So a professor will only teach, and a student who will only learn. Now we also have critics, which are very important. What is the critic's job? The critic has to evaluate, he has to assess, and he has to comment on it, and evaluate the value of the works. Then you have the buyers. What do the buyers do? They go for their personal likes, they evaluate their work, they want to invest in paintings, and that is how the buyers also are a part of this fraternity. And these 5 are extremely important and are existing in the art world. So again, when coming back to the point where what qualifies as art, there are also a lot of fakes which are masquerading all over, and they look almost as good as the original. Then are we going to call them art again? Then you have reproductions of artists' works again, which are also, they have no growth, no progress, of very famous artists also. But is that also an art piece? So these are the questions which often go on in everyone's mind. I think, what is it that really, sometimes you say that, oh, I saw a scribble of a very famous artist, and what is it that is so special about it? Or we don't understand this. But critics are extremely important in this whole thing, because it is the critics who evaluate it. They look at the journey of an artist, because in every artist's life, the journey is extremely important. That is why we have all our masters who have passed a long period of time, 70 years, 60 years, 80 years, before we can actually, you cannot assess the journey of an artist in quick time. Otherwise, it's just like a flash in the pan. So having said that, I feel that nature, again, is the biggest muse for everybody. And when we say nature, it doesn't necessarily mean only trees and foliage. It also means people around. So the subject that an artist chooses could be just anything. And nature, I think, is one of the biggest and the largest and the most grand forms of art. Because even if you look around, and it's for those who see and actually look around and realize it. Because when you're looking at, let's say, even the trees beyond, even if a tree is drying up, you'll find that it's so perfectly composed, and it has absolutely, like, not a leaf that is out of place. You look at it carefully, the balance is absolutely to its exquisite detail. It is very, very, if you start looking around, you will realize that there's nothing out of place in that. So starting with that, everything in nature is extremely balanced and composed. Now, one such great wonder, and the most popular painting which I can think of, is the Mona Lisa. It's a painting where thousands of people have thronged all over the world. Tourists, art lovers, and everybody has seen the Mona Lisa and always wondered what is so special about this painting. Earlier, before photography, paintings were the ones that documented history, and they were very, very important. Portraits were extremely important. So now in this particular painting, this Lisa is extremely alive. That is the first thing. If you're trying to decipher a painting or try to understand what a painting is about, Leonardo Vinci has used a thing called sfumato, which is a technical word, of course, Italian word, which explains how blurring is done. So anyone who's actually played with crayons or drawn anything would realize that it's the lines of the eyes and the mouth which actually decide what the mood of the portrait is going to be. So in Lisa's case, when you look at her, it seems with her eyes that she's mocking, seducing. And with the smile, it is sometimes there and sometimes fading away, if you notice. Now, he has used this sfumato very, very with his expertise, and he has blurred out the ends of it. So the blurring gives a very, it's very soft, the colors mellow into one another, and this makes it very, very elusive, and this mysterious look that she has is because of this effect that he has created. Another few people have also noticed that the landscape behind is not uniform. Like the left and the right side of Lisa, it's not matching. One side is higher, the other side is lower. Even the face is not a perfect match, the right and the left. And, and even the folds and the way her hands are done are again in that sfumato, which is blurred out. So this is what creates that very, mysterious, elusive kind of a feeling of Mona Lisa. Now, after having said that, I feel that how do you view a painting? Now, this is Mona Lisa, but how do you view a painting? I think when you're going into any museum or any park where there are artworks, few artworks are going to arrest your attention, and few you are just going to pass walking by. So the artwork that actually arrests your attention is the one that I think you should spend a little more time with it. If you stand in front of it and view it a little more carefully, observe it, give it some time, you will realize that you either like it or you don't. So if you like it, then of course you should stand for a longer time in front of it and enjoy the whole experience. But if you don't, let's say you dislike it, or it's something morbid and it causes a lot of disdain, in that case, also I think, because it has arrested your attention, you should watch it a little more and stay with it. Just spend a little more time with it, and you will start realizing why you don't like it. So this is in one small example of how you will look into yourself while looking at a piece of art. This, I think, is an extremely important thing, because we just look at it and we say, oh, it's beautiful. But are you able to submerge yourself in it? Are you able to actually take a voyage that the artist hopes when you're looking? He expects you to actually go into a little journey of your own while looking at that work. So that is the whole idea of viewing a painting. Of course, a lot of art can also be very intimidating. And when I say intimidating, it's because I think it's most often because, we seem to not understand it. Let's say it does not appeal to our sensibilities. And you just find it daunting. But this intimidation is not only for the viewer, it's also for an artist. Because let's say I'm an artist and I'm standing in front of my canvas. Every single day, standing in front of a blank canvas is, you have a tumble of emotions in your head and thoughts and ideas, and they're all over the place, and you want to sort of put them into semblance, into some arrangement, and to compose it into something and put it on the canvas. That is the reason an artist spends an entire lifetime in trying to express himself, because that's the only thing he knows. He doesn't know other than putting your energy, your thoughts, your feelings, whatever you have within which needs to get out, that whole turmoil needs to get out on the canvas in whichever way that is possible for an artist to do. So what you are is what will come on the canvas. And that is, I think, the essence of art expression, what you say, artist expression, their total freedom to do exactly how he wants to do it and what he wants to do. So an artist chooses a subject of his choice. It could be even a medium. Like, I have known artists who have spent an entire medium with just doing pencil work, or doing crayon work, or doing charcoal, or oil, or acrylic, or whatever. I mean, and I'm talking more as a painter, because I'm primarily a painter. And I went to my first love, which was painting and art. And I think that passion that I had has brought me today to where I am. I mean, so I think all and everyone has this thing in them, something you really, really enjoy. And I think today's a world of, it's just exploding with ideas. And if everybody gets a chance to do what they want, then I think it is, it's just very fulfilling, your journey, because the process is so exciting and interesting that you will never feel that, you're working or you're doing something like that. So in all this entire conversation that we've had, I've shared a few thoughts about, how you can appreciate art. So the next time I think that you go to a museum or go to an art exhibition, I hope that you enjoy the experience a lot more and are happy. So thank you very much for being a patient audience. Thank you.